This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Carol Good. www.soundsgood.com. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 15. 32 Ways to Cook Flounder. Baked Flounder. Clean and split 2 flounders and take out all the small bones. Lay the fish in a buttered dish. Sprinkle with chopped mushrooms, minced parsley, onion, and grated breadcrumbs. Season with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg. Dot with butter and bake. Cook together 2 tablespoonfuls each of butter and flour and thicken 2 cupfuls of milk with it. Season with salt, pepper, lemon juice, anchovy paste, and minced parsley. Add a tablespoonful of capers. Drain the butter from the fish, pour over the sauce, and serve. Baked Flounder à l'Italienne. Cook together a tablespoonful of butter, 2 tablespoonfuls of chopped parsley, 1 tablespoonful each of chopped mushrooms and shallots, and 2 cupfuls of white wine. Reduce half by rapid boiling. Add 1 cupful of chicken stock and half a cupful of milk or beef stock, and thicken with flour blended with butter. Season with salt and pepper and boil down until very thick. Prepare a flounder according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Season with salt and pepper, rub with butter, pour over 1 cupful of white wine. Cover with the sauce and sprinkle thickly with crumbs. Bake in a moderate oven until done. Serve in the same dish. Baked Flounder à la Bonvalet. Put a cleaned flounder into a baking pan with salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, chopped onion, a tablespoonful of butter, a wineglassful of white wine, and a cupful of white stock. Bake carefully, basting as required. Take up the fish, add another cupful of stock, and thicken the sauce with 2 tablespoonfuls of flour, blended with an equal quantity of butter. Take from the fire. Add the yolks of 3 eggs well beaten and a tablespoonful of minced parsley. Spread this sauce over the fish, cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Sprinkle with lemon juice and serve. Baked Flounder à la Parisienne. Stuff a cleaned flounder with seasoned crumbs and put into a buttered baking dish. Dot with butter, sprinkle with salt and pepper, and pour over half a cupful each of oyster liqueur and white wine. Cover with buttered paper and bake for 40 minutes, basting as required. Take up the fish, strain the sauce, and prepare a sauce according to directions given in the first part of the recipe for flounder pie à la Normandie. Add the strained liquid to the sauce. Pour over the fish, cover with crumbs, and brown in the oven. Baked Flounder à la Saint-Malo. Put the cleaned fish into a buttered baking dish with chopped onions, parsley, salt, pepper, a tablespoonful of butter, and 2 cupfuls of cider. Also add a little mussel or oyster liqueur, if at hand. Bake for half an hour in a moderate oven, basting as needed. Drain the sauce. Thicken with a tablespoonful of butter cooked with an equal quantity of flour. Add more butter and a squeeze of lemon juice. Pour the sauce over the fish and serve. Baked fillets of flounder in wine. Fillet the fish. Mix together 4 tablespoonfuls of sherry, half a cupful of butter, 1 tablespoonful each of onion juice, lemon juice, and salt, and add pepper to season. Bring to a boil, dip the fillets into it, arrange in a baking dish, cover with the remaining sauce, and bake in a hot oven for 10 minutes. Fry in butter a slice each of onion and carrot, a bay leaf, and a sprig of parsley. Add a tablespoonful of flour and cook thoroughly. Add 1 cupful of chicken stock and half a cupful of cream. Cook until thick, stirring constantly and seasoning with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg. Add the gravy from the baking pan. Strain, reheat, pour over the fish, and serve. Baked fillets of flounder. Remove the backbone and cut the fish into 4 pieces. Roll up each piece and pin with a toothpick. Soak for an hour in oil and lemon juice. Roll in seasoned crumbs, then in beaten egg, then in crumbs. Put into a baking pan. Upon thin slices of salt pork, sprinkle with chopped onions and olives. Cover and bake. Garnish with sliced lemons. Flounder with fine herbs. Put the prepared fish into a pan with 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, the juice of a lemon, and salt and pepper to season. Add 1 cupful each of water and white wine. Cover and cook for half an hour. Drain the fish. Thicken the sauce with a tablespoonful of flour cooked in butter. Boil, strain, add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 2 tablespoonfuls of chopped parsley. Pour over the fish and serve. Flounder à la Française. Cover a flounder with white wine. Sprinkle with salt and pepper. Add a bunch of parsley, a few chives, a bay leaf, and a little chopped onion. Boil for 10 minutes. Take up the fish carefully. Rub the sauce through a sieve. Thicken with a tablespoonful of flour rubbed smooth with half a cupful of butter. Bring to the boil, pour over the fish, and serve. Flounder à la Janine. Fill a flounder with seasoned crumbs mixed with chopped mushrooms, shallots, and parsley. Put on a buttered baking dish. Season with salt and pepper, dot with butter, and pour over half a cupful each of sherry and oyster liqueur. Bake until done, basting as required. Take up the fish, add a cupful of stock to the sauce, and thicken with browned flour. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and a little lemon juice. Strain over the fish and garnish with parboiled oysters. Flounder à la Provençale. Clean 2 flounders and let stand for 4 hours in a marinade of olive oil and lemon juice, seasoned with salt, pepper, onion, parsley, thyme, bay leaves, and bruised garlic. Put into a baking dish with the seasoning, a teaspoon of butter, 1 cupful each of stock and white wine. Bake for half an hour, basting as needed. Drain, strain, and skim the sauce. Thicken with butter and flour. Take from the fire. Add the yolks of 4 eggs, well beaten, and lemon juice to taste. Season with red pepper and minced parsley. Pour over the fish and serve. Breaded turbans of flounder. Fillet 3 flounders, season with salt and pepper. Dip into melted butter, roll up and fasten with a toothpick. Dip into egg and crumbs and fry in deep fat. Serve with tartar sauce. Turbans of flounder with anchovies. Drain a bottle of anchovies from the oil. Mix with 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, half a cupful of stock, a tablespoonful of lemon juice, and salt and pepper to taste. Pound to a paste and add the yolks of 2 raw eggs. Prepare the fillet of flounder according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Spread with the forcemeat, roll up, and pin with toothpicks. Roll in melted butter, then in flour, and bake in a hot oven for 20 minutes. Turbans of flounder with oysters. Prepare according to directions given above, stuffing with chopped oysters and seasoned crumbs. Fricassee of flounder. Clean the flounders, cut into convenient pieces, season with salt, dredge with flour, and fry in boiling fat. Chop a dozen oysters and put into a saucepan with their liqueur, 1 cupful of white wine, a tablespoonful of anchovy paste, and salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg to taste. Bring to the boil, pour over the fish, and serve. Fried flounder. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Sprinkle with salt and pepper, dip into milk, then into flour, and sauté in pork fat. Or dip in beaten egg and breadcrumbs and fry in deep fat. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Fried fillets of flounder. Prepare the fillets according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Keep in a cold place for half an hour. Fry in deep fat and serve with tartar sauce. Fillets of flounder au gratin. Cook together 3 tablespoonfuls of butter, 1 tablespoonful of flour, a slice of onion, and a bay leaf. Add 2 cupfuls of chicken stock and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Strain and add a tablespoonful of lemon juice. Dip the fillets of fish into melted butter, season with salt and pepper, cover with sauce and breadcrumbs. Bake for 20 minutes in a very hot oven. Fillets of flounder à la Lyon. Bone the fish and cut into fillets. Wash in cold, salted water and wipe dry. Dip in egg and seasoned breadcrumbs and fry in hot drippings. Serve with melted butter, lemon juice, and minced parsley or tomato sauce, or a sauce made as follows. Cook together 1 tablespoonful each of butter and flour and thicken with it a cupful. Add a tablespoonful each of lemon juice, chopped pickles, and capers, a teaspoonful each of minced parsley and mustard, and the mashed yolk of a hard-boiled egg. Beat thoroughly together and serve either hot or cold. Fillet of flounder à la Normandie. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given and season with pepper and salt. Fry a small chopped onion in butter and add 2 chopped hard-boiled eggs and 1 tablespoonful of minced parsley. Season with pepper and salt. Add a tablespoonful of butter and cook to a smooth paste. Spread the fillets with this paste. Put a parboiled mussel on each one. Roll and tie with a string. Add to the mussel liqueur 1 cupful of cream and simmer the fillets in it for 6 minutes. Take out and cut the strings. Thicken the sauce with the yolks of 2 eggs beaten with 4 tablespoonfuls of cream. Add a teaspoonful of butter and a few drops of lemon juice. Add a few parboiled mussels to the sauce. Reheat, pour over the fish, and serve. Stuffed fillets of flounder 1. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given. Season with salt and pepper and dredge in flour. Put half of the fillets into a buttered baking dish. Chop together a button onion, a small bunch of parsley, half a stalk of celery, and half a can of mushrooms. Mix 2 tablespoonfuls of butter with 1 teaspoonful of flour and add to the chopped mixture with the yolks of 2 raw eggs. Season with salt, red and black pepper, and mix thoroughly. Spread the fillets in the pan with this stuffing and lay the other fillets on top. Cover with buttered paper and cook for 12 minutes. Serve with the remaining mushrooms heated and sprinkle with lemon juice. Stuffed fillets of flounder 2. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given. Put each 2 together with mashed potato beaten light with egg between. Cover with crumbs, dip in egg and crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with tartar sauce. Fillets of flounder with green peas. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given. Dip into melted butter and season with salt, pepper, and lemon juice. Skewer into shape with toothpicks and arrange in a baking dish. Half cover with stock made from the fish trimmings and bake for 10 minutes. Arrange in a circle on a platter and fill the center with green peas seasoned with salt, pepper, and butter. Strain the stock, thicken with butter and flour cooked together, and serve separately as a sauce. Steamed fillets of flounder. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given and spread with chopped pickles, olives, capers, parsley, and onions. Roll up, fasten with toothpicks, and steam or bake, basting with stock, or dip in egg and crumbs and fry in deep fat. Serve with any preferred sauce. Stuffed fillets of flounder à la Delmonico. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given. Cover with half a cupful of white wine, 1 cupful of fish stock made from the bones, and salt and paprika to season. Simmer for 20 minutes. Cook together 1 tablespoonful each of butter and flour. Add half a cupful of stock and cook until very thick, stirring constantly. Add half a cupful each of shrimps and oysters chopped fine, a teaspoonful of Worcestershire sauce, the yolk of an egg, and 2 drops of Tabasco sauce. Dip the fillets in this mixture and cool. When cold, dip in crumbs, then in egg, then in crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Rolled fillets of flounder. Prepare the fillets as directed and spread with anchovies, lobster, shrimps, or sardines, mashed to a paste with butter. Roll up, fasten with toothpicks, and bake fry, sauté, or stew as preferred. Broiled fillets of flounder à la Brighton. Season the fillets with salt, pepper, and oil. Broil carefully and put on slices of buttered toast. Surround with parboiled oysters and serve over a sauce made of water and the oyster liqueur, thickened with butter and flour cooked together, and seasoned with anchovy paste. Fillets of flounder à la Dieppoise. Prepare the fillets as directed, seasoning with salt and pepper. Brown in melted butter and cool. Sprinkle with crumbs, dip in eggs beaten with an equal quantity of melted butter, roll in fresh crumbs and broil, basting with oil. Serve with melted butter, minced parsley, and lemon juice. Flounder pie à la Normandie. Chop fine 2 carrots and 2 onions, 2 sprigs of parsley, a stalk of celery, and a bit of bay leaf. Fry in butter, seasoning with salt and pepper and powdered mace. Add 2 cupfuls of boiled milk and cook slowly for 25 minutes. Press through a sieve, add 2 cupfuls of cream, and reheat. Add the fillets of a 2-pound flounder, the mussels taken from a quart of mussel shells, a quart of oysters, parboiled in their liqueur, and drained, and ½ a pound of cleaned, fresh mushrooms. Cook for 2 minutes. Thicken with the yolks of 2 eggs beaten with 1 tablespoonful of butter and 2 of cream. Fill a baking dish lined with pastry, cover with crust, and bake. Broiled flounder à la Chivry. Cut the flounder into fillets as previously directed. Soak for an hour in a marinade of oil and lemon juice seasoned with salt, pepper, onion, and parsley. Dip in crumbs and broil, basting with oil. Serve with quartered lemon. Flounder with white wine sauce. Put the prepared fish into a baking dish with 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, 2 cupfuls of white wine, and salt and pepper to taste. Cover and cook for 20 minutes, adding more water if necessary. Drain the fish, thicken the gravy with a tablespoonful of flour cooked in butter, bring to the boil. Add the juice of a lemon and 2 tablespoonfuls of butter. Pour over the fish and serve. Flounder au gratin. Fry in butter chopped parsley, shallot, and button mushrooms. Season with salt and pepper and spread on the bottom of a baking dish. Lay on them a trimmed flounder. Cover with crumbs, dot with butter, moisten with white wine, and cook carefully. Serve in the same dish. End of section 15.
LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Morgan Barnhart. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 16. 27 Ways to Cook Frog Legs. Fried frog legs. 1. Break the yolk of an egg with a cupful of milk and add flour, enough to make a smooth batter. Dip into the batter frog legs which have been marinated in oil and vinegar, and fry in deep fat. Fried frog legs. 2. Clean, season with salt and pepper, dip in egg and crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with tartar sauce. Fried frog legs. 3. Parboil for 3 minutes. Drain, wipe dry, dip in crumbs, then in beaten egg, then in seasoned crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with a border of green peas or with cream sauce. Fried frog legs. 4. Parboil for 5 minutes. Blanch in cold water, drain, and wipe dry. Season with salt and pepper. Dredge with flour and sauté in butter. Serve with a garnish of fried parsley. Fried frog legs. 5. Soak the prepared legs in milk for 15 minutes. Dip in seasoned flour without wiping and fry in deep fat. Fried frog legs. 6. Parboil for 5 minutes in salted and acidulated water. Drain, dip into beaten egg, then in cornmeal, and fry golden brown in salt pork fat. Frog legs sauté. Put a tablespoonful of butter into a saucepan, and when it bubbles, put in the frog legs with a sprig of parsley and salt and pepper to season. Fry brown and garnish with slices of lemon. Southern fried frog legs. Parboil the legs for 3 minutes in salted water. Beat together 1 egg and half a cupful of milk. Season the legs with salt and pepper. Dip into the milk, then into cracker crumbs rolled fine, and fry in deep fat. Fried frog legs l'anglaise. Season the frog legs with salt and pepper and soak for an hour in lemon juice. Roll in flour, dip in beaten egg, then in crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with tomato sauce. Fried frog legs la frenaise. Marinate for an hour in vinegar with salt, pepper, parsley, chopped onion, bay leaves, and thyme. Drain, roll in flour, and sauté in hot fat. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Boiled frog legs. Soak the legs for half an hour in a marinade of oil and lemon juice, seasoned with salt and pepper. Broil on a double broiler and serve with maitre d'hotel sauce. Baked frog legs. Prepare and clean 1 dozen frog legs. Butter a baking dish, sprinkle with chopped mushrooms and crumbs, and lay the frog legs on them. Season with salt and pepper and sweet herbs. Sprinkle with crumbs, squeeze over the juice of a lemon, and pour in a cupful of brown sauce. Cover and bake for half an hour in a moderate oven. Fricassee of frog legs 1. Simmer the prepared legs in milk until tender. Drain and put in a platter. Spread with butter and keep warm. Cook together 1 tablespoonful of flour and 2 of butter. Add the milk in which the legs were cooked and enough more to make a pint. Cook until thick, stirring constantly. Season with salt, paprika, and minced parsley. Take from the fire and add 2 eggs well beaten with the juice of half a lemon. Bring to the boil. Pour over the frog legs and serve. Fricassee of frog legs 2. Prepare and skin the legs and boil until tender in veal stock to cover, with pepper and salt to season, a bunch of sweet herbs, and a bit of lemon peel. Add a small slice of onion and cook until the legs are tender. Strain the liquid, thicken it with butter and flour and a little cream cooked together. Add the frog legs and a few canned mushrooms cut fine. Bring to the boil and serve. Fricassee of frog legs 3. Brown a dozen frog legs in butter with half a teaspoonful of chopped onions. Add 1/2 cupful of water and 1/2 cupful of sherry. Cover and cook for 20 minutes. Beat the yolks of 4 eggs with 2 tablespoonfuls of cream. Add a little of the hot liquid. Pour into the pan and bring to the boil. Skim out the frog legs, put on a platter, and strain the sauce over them. Brown fricassee of frog legs. Melt 1 tablespoonful of butter and brown it in 2 tablespoonfuls of flour. Add sufficient brown stock to make the required quantity of sauce and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Season with salt, pepper, grated lemon peel, grated onion, sweet herbs, anchovy paste, and a pinch of allspice. Dip the frog legs in flour and fry brown. Arrange on a platter, cover the broiled mushrooms, pour the sauce over, and serve. Stewed frog legs 1. Soak the frog legs for an hour in a marinade of oil and lemon juice, adding a teaspoonful of chopped onion. Fry brown in butter a small onion, a tomato, and a green pepper, all chopped fine. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of flour and cook to a smooth paste. Add the frog legs and enough water or stock to keep from burning. Cover and cook for 10 or 15 minutes. Stewed frog legs 2. Melt 1 tablespoonful of butter and brown it in 1 tablespoonful of flour. Add 1 cupful of stock and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add a dozen prepared frog legs. Simmer for 10 minutes. Season with salt and pepper. Take from the fire. Add the yolk of an egg beaten smooth with a little cold water. Bring the boil and serve at once. Stewed frog legs. 3. Soak the prepared legs in milk for 15 minutes. Dip in seasoned flour and fry in hot butter for 3 minutes. Cover with hot water and simmer for 20 minutes. Bring half a cupful of cream to the boil, stir in a tablespoonful of butter rolled in flour, and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add to the frog legs, cook 3 minutes longer. Season with salt, pepper, and minced parsley, and serve. Stewed frog legs. 4. Brown a dozen frog legs in butter, sprinkle with flour, and add enough cream to make the required quantity of sauce. Cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add a teaspoonful each of onion juice and minced parsley, and salt and pepper to season. Take from the fire and add the yolks of 2 eggs beaten smooth with a little cold milk. Bring to the boil and serve very hot. Frog legs à la hollandaise. Fry the prepared frog legs in butter, seasoning with salt and pepper. Add half a wineglassful of white wine. Cover and simmer for 5 minutes. Then add 2 cupfuls of hollandaise sauce, 2 teaspoons of finely chopped parsley, and a little lemon juice. Bring to the boil and serve very hot. Frog legs à la provençale. Cover the bottom of a saucepan with olive oil and sprinkle with finely minced garlic. Lay the frog legs on this, cover and cook until brown. Squeeze over the juice of half a lemon, sprinkle with parsley, and serve. Frog legs au beurre noir. Boil the legs in court bouillon for 5 minutes. Drain, arrange on a serving dish, sprinkle with minced parsley, and keep warm. Brown half a cupful of butter in a frying pan, taking care not to burn. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar and salt and pepper to season. Pour over the frog legs and serve. Frog legs à la poulette. 1. Parboil a dozen frog legs, drain and cool. Cook together 1 tablespoonful each of butter and flour. Add 1 cupful of milk or white stock and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add salt and pepper to season and the frog legs. Cover and cook for 20 minutes. Take from the fire, add the yolk of an egg beaten smooth with a little cold water and a tablespoonful of minced parsley. Bring to the boil and serve at once. Frog legs à la poulette. 2. Season prepared frog legs with salt, pepper, and nutmeg, and fry brown in butter. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of flour and 2 cupfuls of cream. Cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add a wineglassful of white wine, 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, a tablespoonful of minced parsley, and the yolks of 4 eggs beaten smooth with the juice of a lemon. Bring to the boil and serve. Frog legs patties. Boil the legs until the meat drops from the bone. Remove the bone. Reheat in cream sauce and season to taste. Fill patty shells and serve. Frog legs à la Crayola. Melt a tablespoonful of butter in a saucepan and fry in it a chopped onion, a tablespoonful of chopped raw ham, and half a green pepper shredded. Season highly with salt and pepper. Add 4 cupfuls of stock, a tablespoonful of rice, 6 sliced okras, and 1 sliced tomato. Cook thoroughly for 20 minutes. Add 4 cupfuls of prepared frog legs and simmer until they are tender. Half of this recipe is sufficient for a small family. End of section 16.
Section 17 of How to Cook Fish. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, visit LibriVox.org. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 17. 22 Ways to Cook Haddock. Broiled haddock 1. Clean and dry a fresh haddock, rub with vinegar, sprinkle with flour, and broil on a well-greased gridiron. Serve with shrimp or anchovy sauce. Broiled haddock 2. Soak the fish for an hour in a marinade of oil and vinegar. Drain, wipe dry, broil, and serve with melted butter. Broiled haddock à la maître d'hôtel. Clean and split a haddock, season with salt and pepper, dredge with flour, and broil. Serve with maître d'hôtel sauce. Broiled smoked haddock. Rub the fish with melted butter, season with pepper, and broil. Serve very hot. Fried fillets of haddock 1. Skin, clean, and fillet a haddock. Season with pepper and salt, dip into egg and crumbs, and fry brown in deep fat. Fried fillets of haddock 2. Cut the fish into fillets and marinade in oil and vinegar with a little onion. Drain, dip in batter, then in crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with tomato sauce. Fried smoked haddock. Soak a haddock for 4 hours in olive oil to cover. Drain and fry in a frying pan with a little of the oil. Season with pepper and serve very hot. Baked haddock 1. Make a stuffing of equal parts of chopped bacon and breadcrumbs. Season with salt and pepper, anchovy essence, and add a raw egg to bind. Stuff a cleaned haddock and sew up. Mix 1 tablespoonful of flour with 1 of cold water, add 1 cupful of boiling water, and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add 1 tablespoonful of butter and 2 tablespoonfuls of essence of anchovy. Pour the sauce into a baking pan, put the fish on it, and bake for an hour, basting as required. Baked haddock 2. Make a stuffing of 1 cupful of cracker crumbs, 1/4 of a cupful of butter and salt, minced onion, pickles, pepper, and parsley to season. Stuff the fish, sew up, cover with strips of salt pork, dredge with flour, and bake until brown, basting as required. Serve with any preferred sauce. Baked haddock 3. Stuff the fish with crumbs and chopped veal, seasoning to taste and using a raw egg to bind. Rub with beaten egg, sprinkle with crumbs, and bake in a moderate oven, basting with melted butter as required. Serve with anchovy sauce. Baked fillets of haddock. Clean and fillet a fish, put into a pan with melted butter, and season with pepper, salt, and lemon juice. Sprinkle with minced parsley, cover with buttered paper, and bake in the oven. Serve with Italian sauce. Baked haddock with sauce. Clean and cut up the fish and remove the bones. Cut into small pieces. Butter a baking dish, sprinkle with crumbs, put in a layer of the fish, and spread with crumbs seasoned with salt, pepper, thyme, and grated onion, and mixed to a paste with raw egg. Repeat until the dish is full, having crumbs and butter on top. Add enough milk to moisten and bake. For the sauce, simmer the bones and trimmings of the fish, strain, season, and thicken with a teaspoonful each of butter and flour, cooked together and blended with a little hot water. Baked haddock with oyster stuffing. Remove the skin, head, and tail, and take out as many bones as possible. Divide into 2 fillets. Sprinkle with salt and brush with lemon juice. Lay one fillet on a greased fish sheet in a dripping pan, and cover thickly with seasoned oysters dipped in buttered cracker crumbs. Cover with the other fillet. Brush with egg slightly beaten. Cover with buttered crumbs, and bake for 50 minutes in a moderate oven. Serve with hollandaise sauce. Haddock rarebit. Cut the haddock into slices an inch thick, free from bone and skin. Lay in a greased baking dish and season with salt and pepper. Grate sufficient cheese to cover, and season with salt, red pepper, and mustard. Make to a smooth paste with cream or beaten egg. Put into a hot oven and cook until the cheese melts and browns and the fish is firm. Take up carefully on a platter and pour 1 tablespoonful of sherry over each slice. Boiled haddock with white sauce. Boil the fish in salted and acidulated water, with a bunch of parsley to season. Cook together 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 1 of flour, and add salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg to season. Add 2 cupfuls of boiling water. Bring to the boil, strain, add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and the juice of a lemon. Pour over the fish and serve. Boiled haddock with egg sauce. Mix finely grated breadcrumbs with half the quantity of chopped beef suet. Season with minced parsley, shallot, thyme, pepper, salt, and grated nutmeg. Bind with a raw egg. Stuff and sew up the fish, and boil in salted water. For the sauce, melt 1 tablespoonful of butter, add 2 of flour, and cook thoroughly. Add 2 cupfuls of boiling water, and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Add 2 chopped hard-boiled eggs. Season to taste, pour over the fish, and serve. Boiled haddock with lobster sauce. Boil the fish gently in salted boiling water to cover. Melt 3 tablespoonfuls of butter, add 2 tablespoonfuls of flour, and cook thoroughly. Add gradually 2 cupfuls of boiling water and cook until thick. Season with lemon juice and cayenne. Strain the sauce and reheat. Add the finely cut meat of a small boiled lobster and the pounded coral. Pour over the fish and serve. Stewed haddock. Split the fish lengthwise and cut into pieces. Boil the bones and trimmings in water to cover, and strain. Butter a baking dish. Put the fish into it with the flesh downward, and sprinkle each piece with salt, cayenne, mace, and flour. Pour over it 2 cupfuls of the fish liquor. Cover and simmer for 20 minutes. Add 2 teaspoonfuls of anchovy essence and 1 cupful of sherry. Blend together 2 tablespoonfuls each of flour and butter. Make smooth with a little of the gravy, and thicken all of it. Simmer for 10 minutes and serve with the gravy poured over the fish. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Haddocks and oysters. Clean and fillet a haddock. Cover the trimmings with water and add the liquor drained from a pint of oysters. Add a slice of onion, a pinch of powdered sweet herbs, and a slice of carrot. Simmer to form a stock. Put a layer of sliced onion into a saucepan, and arrange upon it the fillets of fish and a pint of oysters. Sprinkle with salt and pepper, add the juice of a lemon, cover with sliced onion, strain the stock over, cover, and simmer until the fillets are tender. Arrange the fillets on a hot dish with the oysters, strain the liquid, thicken it with the yolks of 4 eggs, pour over, and serve. Fillets of haddock à la royale. Prepare the fillets and put into a basin with a marinade of oil and lemon juice seasoned with pepper, salt, minced parsley, and chopped shallots. Drain, dip into batter, and fry in deep fat. Serve with any preferred sauce. Haddock à la crème. Boil the fish in salted and acidulated water. Melt 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and cook in it 2 heaping tablespoonfuls of flour. Add 4 cupfuls of milk and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Season with pepper, salt, grated onion, and minced parsley. Put the fish into a serving dish, skin it carefully, and pour the sauce over it. Put a border of mashed potatoes around the fish, rub with melted butter, and put into the oven until the potato is brown. Haddock cutlets. Prepare a sauce according to directions given in the preceding recipe, using 1/4 the quantity of milk. Mix the sauce with cold cooked haddock, minced very fine, and cool. Shape into cutlets, dip into egg and crumbs, and fry in deep fat. End of section 17. Read by Dennis Sayers in Modesto, California for LibriVox. Spring 2007.
This is the LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Leanne Howlett. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 18. 80 Ways to Cook Halibut. Broiled halibut. 1. Cut into steaks, dust with salt and pepper, cover with melted butter, and let stand for half an hour. Dredge with flour and broil. Serve with a garnish of sliced lemon and parsley. Broiled halibut. 2. Freshen salt halibut for an hour or 2 in cold water. Drain, season with pepper, and wrap each slice in tough paper well buttered, twisting the ends. Broil for 8 minutes. Take from the papers and serve with any preferred sauce. Broiled halibut. 3. Season with salt and pepper and broil on a buttered gridiron over a clear fire. Serve with plenty of melted butter. Broiled halibut. 4. Sprinkle halibut steaks with salt, rub thoroughly with melted butter, and broil until brown. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Broiled halibut. 5. Rub halibut steaks with olive oil and lemon juice and broil over a clear fire. Season with pepper and salt and serve with melted butter. Broiled halibut à la Boston. Broil one side of halibut steaks until heated through, then turn, and spread the other side with a paste of butter, flour, chopped onion, and tomato pulp. Cook until brown and serve with the crust side up. Halibut à la rarebit. Sprinkle 2 halibut steaks with salt and pepper, brush with melted butter, and bake until done. Arrange on a platter, pour over a Welsh rarebit, and serve. Halibut à la majestic. Skin and bone halibut steaks and cut into fillets. Lay in a buttered baking dish, spread with butter, and add a wineglassful of white wine and a little boiling water. Cover with buttered paper and set into a hot oven until cooked. Take the pan out, cover the fish with a layer of sweet Spanish peppers, spread with cream sauce, sprinkle with crumbs and grated cheese, dot with butter, and brown in a hot oven. Serve in the same dish. Halibut à la Conant. In a buttered baking pan, put 3 thin slices of fat salt pork, 3 slices of onion, and a bit of bay leaf. On top of these lay a halibut steak and spread over it 1 tablespoonful each of butter and flour blended together. Cover with buttered cracker crumbs and small strips of salt pork and bake for 20 minutes. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Halibut à la maître d'hôtel. Soak 2 halibut steaks for an hour in lemon juice, seasoned with salt, pepper, and minced parsley. Mix together 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, 1 tablespoonful of flour, and 2 cupfuls of boiling water. Cook until thick, stirring constantly. Put the slices of halibut into a buttered pan, cover with the sauce, and bake for 20 minutes, basting as required. Serve with any preferred sauce. Halibut à la Creole. 1. Wash a thick piece of halibut, put on a buttered baking dish, and season with salt and pepper. Cover with finely minced garlic, add 1 cupful of canned tomatoes and enough boiling water to keep from burning. Bake until done, basting as required. Halibut à la Creole 2. Lay halibut steak for an hour in oil and vinegar, adding chopped onion and minced parsley to the marinade. Drain and put the fish into a baking pan. Turn over it a sauce made of 1 cupful of strained tomatoes, a tablespoonful of butter, a heaping teaspoonful of flour, and salt, paprika, and grated onion to season. Cover closely and bake until tender. Sprinkle with grated cheese and cook for 5 minutes longer. Transfer the fish carefully to a hot platter and pour the sauce around it. Halibut à la Creole 3. Boil together a pint of stewed tomatoes, a cupful of water, a slice of onion, and 3 cloves. Blend together 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 1 of flour and stir into the sauce when it boils. Season with salt and pepper and cook for 10 minutes. Strain and cool. Skin the fish according to directions given in the recipe for Baked Halibut 1. Put on a buttered tin sheet in a baking pan, season with salt and pepper, and bake, basting frequently with the sauce. Baked Halibut 1. Take 3 or 4 pounds of the fish and remove the dark skin by dipping it into boiling water and scraping. Rub the flesh with salt and pepper, put it into a baking pan, and add enough milk to cover the bottom of the pan an inch deep. Bake for an hour, basting frequently with the milk. Take out the fish, remove the bone and skin, and serve with egg sauce. Baked Halibut 2. Soak 6 pounds of halibut in salt water for 2 hours. Wipe dry and score the outer skin. Bake for an hour in a moderately hot oven, basting with melted butter and hot water. Add a little boiling water to the gravy, a tablespoonful of walnut catsup, a teaspoonful of Worcestershire sauce, salt and pepper to season, and the juice of a lemon. Thicken with browned flour, rubbed smooth with a little cold water. Baked Halibut 3. Take a thick cut of halibut and soak for half an hour in salted water. Put into a baking pan with 2 slices of carrot, a slice of onion, and half a bay leaf. Pour over it a cupful of boiling water and 2 tablespoonfuls of melted butter. Bake for an hour, basting frequently, and serve with any preferred sauce. Baked Halibut 4. Lay a thick piece of halibut into a buttered pan, cover with thin slices of salt pork, and dredge with salt, pepper, and flour. Cover the bottom of the pan with boiling water and bake for an hour. Baste with the gravy in the pan and melted butter, adding salt, pepper, and flour as needed. A bay leaf, a sprig of parsley, 2 slices of carrot, and half an onion or a clove of garlic may be put into the dripping pan. Baked Halibut 5. Prepare according to directions given for Baked Halibut 2, seasoning the gravy with lemon and onion juice, celery salt, and half a cupful of claret. Baked Halibut with lobster sauce. Put a piece of halibut on a buttered fish sheet, sprinkle with salt and pepper, and dredge with flour. Cover the bottom of the pan with water, add a sprig of parsley, a slice of onion, 2 slices of carrot, 3 tablespoonfuls of butter, and a bit of bay leaf. Bake for an hour, basting as required, and serve with lobster sauce. Baked Halibut with tomato sauce. Cook together for 20 minutes 2 cupfuls of tomatoes, 1 cupful of water, a slice of onion, 3 cloves, and a teaspoonful of sugar. Cook together 3 tablespoonfuls each of butter and flour, stir into the hot mixture, and cook until thick. Strain and pour half of the sauce around 2 pounds of halibut placed on a buttered tin sheet. Bake for 35 minutes, basting often. Transfer to a hot platter and pour the remaining sauce around. Baked halibut with cream. Cover the fish with cream sauce, then with crumbs. Dot with butter and bake. Baked fillets of halibut au gratin. Bake half a dozen fillets of halibut for half an hour, seasoning with salt and pepper and basting with milk. Cover with a cream sauce to which half a cupful of grated cheese has been added, then with fried crumbs. Reheat and serve in the same dish. Baked halibut steaks with oysters. Soak 2 halibut steaks for an hour in a marinade of oil and vinegar. Lay thin slices of salt pork upon a buttered tin sheet and spread thin slices of salt pork upon it. Lay one of the steaks upon the pork. Dip oysters in melted butter, then in cracker crumbs, and cover the steak with them. Put the other steak on top, cover with thin slices of pork, and bake for 40 minutes, basting with the juice in the pan or with butter melted in hot water. A few minutes before taking up, remove the pork from the top and cover with cracker crumbs and melted butter. Serve with hollandaise sauce to which parboiled oysters have been added. Baked fillets of halibut. Skin, bone, and fillet 2 halibut steaks. Dip in melted butter, season with salt, pepper, lemon, and onion juice. Roll up each fillet, fasten with a wooden toothpick, and bake for 20 minutes, basting with butter melted in hot water. Serve with any preferred sauce. Baked halibut steaks 1. Put a halibut steak into a buttered baking dish and spread with a dressing made of 1 cupful of crumbs, 1 tablespoonful of butter, and grated onion, minced parsley, grated nutmeg, salt, and red and black pepper to season. Lay another steak on top, season with salt and pepper, dot with butter, and bake for half an hour. Baked halibut steaks 2. Wash the steaks and soak for an hour in olive oil and lemon juice. Put into a buttered baking dish, sprinkle with minced onion and parsley, and pour over a cream sauce, using white stock instead of milk if preferred. Put a layer of flaked cooked halibut into a buttered baking dish, season with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg, add a layer of chopped mushrooms and a few tablespoonfuls of the sauce. Repeat until the dish is full, having sauce on top. Sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Baked halibut steaks 3. Trim the steaks, lay them in a baking pan, season with salt and pepper, dredge with flour, dot with butter, pour over 1 cupful of cream and bake for 15 minutes in a quick oven, basting with cream. Baked chicken halibut. Prepare a dressing according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Stuff a chicken halibut, sew up and bake in a buttered pan, basting with melted butter and salted hot water. Serve with hollandaise sauce. Baked halibut steaks with tomatoes. Soak the steaks for an hour in olive oil and lemon juice. Cook together for 15 minutes a can of tomatoes and a seeded chopped green pepper, half an onion, a teaspoonful of sugar, and pepper and salt to season. Rub through a colander and cool. Put the drained fish in a buttered baking pan, pour the sauce over, and bake. Deviled halibut 1. Flake cold cooked halibut. Make a forcemeat of breadcrumbs, the yolks of 2 eggs, a tablespoonful of melted butter and salt, paprika, grated onion, and minced parsley to season. Mix the fish, moisten with oyster liquor, and fill buttered individual shells. Cover with crumbs, season with salt and pepper, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Deviled halibut 2. Flake a pound of cooked halibut. Mix together the pounded yolks of 3 hard-boiled eggs, 1 tablespoonful of olive oil, 2 teaspoonfuls of sugar, a teaspoonful of made mustard, a pinch of cayenne, a teaspoonful of salt, a teaspoonful of Worcestershire sauce, half a teaspoonful of anchovy paste, and enough vinegar to make a smooth paste. Mix thoroughly with the fish and garnish with hard-boiled eggs sliced or quartered. Molded halibut with green peas. Chop a pound of raw halibut very fine. Add to it the yolk of an egg well beaten and salt, red and white pepper to season. Add a teaspoonful of cornstarch rubbed smooth with 2/3 of a cupful of milk and 1/3 of a cupful of cream, whipped solid. Fill buttered individual molds, put into a pan of hot water, and bake in a slow oven for 20 minutes. Turn out on a platter and surround with cooked peas, reheated in cream sauce. Sandwiches of chicken halibut. Cut chicken halibut into thin fillets. Put together in pairs with chopped oysters between, rub to a paste with seasoned crumbs and cream. Rub with melted butter, sprinkle with lemon juice, and season with salt and pepper. Put into a shallow pan with half a cupful of white wine and bake for 20 minutes. Arrange on a platter, sprinkle with minced parsley, and serve with hollandaise sauce. Turbans of halibut. Have a slice of halibut cut 2 inches thick. Take off the skin and cut into cylinders with a small tin baking powder box. Steam until firm and serve with a cream sauce flavored with parsley and lemon. Or bake in milk and serve with cream sauce, using a stewed and strained tomato for half of the liquid. Halibut and lobster à la hollandaise. Reheat equal quantities of boiled and flaked lobster and halibut in hollandaise sauce. Halibut steak à la jardinière. 1. Soak halibut steaks for an hour in salt and water. Wipe dry and rub with melted butter. Butter a china baking dish, sprinkle chopped onion on the bottom, and put in the steaks. On top, put a boiled carrot cut into dice, half a dozen sliced tomatoes, a shredded green pepper, and half a cupful of green peas. Add enough salted boiling water to keep the fish from scorching, put a tablespoonful of butter on top, cover, and bake until done. Drain the liquor carefully from the pan, add 3 tablespoonfuls of white wine, and thicken with a teaspoonful of butter rolled in browned flour. Serve separately as a sauce. Halibut à la jardinière. 2. Cover 2 slices of halibut with a chopped onion, 2 tomatoes sliced, a shredded and seeded green pepper, a dozen chopped almonds, a tablespoonful of melted butter, and salt to season. Bake for half an hour, pour over the sauce from the pan, and serve. Halibut and cucumbers. Cook the halibut until tender in court bouillon, drain and flake with a fork. Make a cream sauce, seasoning with curry powder. Pare, cut in halves, and parboil in beef stock as many cucumbers as are required. Scoop out the inside of each half, fill with the creamed fish, cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake in the oven until the cucumbers are soft. Serve with a garnish of lemon and parsley. Halibut with anchovy sauce. 4 tablespoonfuls of butter, 4 tablespoonfuls of flour, 1/8 teaspoonful of pepper, 1/2 teaspoonful of salt, 2 hard-boiled eggs chopped, 2 cupfuls of cream, 2 drops of Tabasco, 1 teaspoonful of anchovy essence, 1 1/2 cupfuls of cold cooked halibut, flaked. Mix the ingredients in the order given and cook for 10 minutes. Serve with brown bread spread with cheese and chopped olives. Halibut au gratin. Flake cold cooked halibut and mix with an equal quantity of cream sauce. Put into buttered individual shells, sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Escalloped halibut. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe, and add the yolks of 2 eggs well beaten. Fill a baking dish using alternate layers of fish and grated cheese. Cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Halibut steak à la Flamande. Butter a baking pan, sprinkle with chopped onion, and lay a halibut steak upon it. Pour over the beaten yolk of an egg, season with salt and pepper, add the juice of half a lemon and 1 tablespoonful of butter cut into small pieces. Bake for 30 minutes. Add to the liquid remaining in the pan enough boiling water to make the required quantity of sauce and thicken it with browned flour. Creamed halibut. Flake cold cooked halibut and mix with cream sauce. Add a tablespoonful of minced parsley, the juice of half a lemon, and 3 tablespoonfuls of grated Parmesan cheese. Spread on buttered toast, sprinkle with minced parsley, and serve. Halibut salad. Take cold cooked halibut cut small. Salt and pepper lightly and sprinkle with lemon juice. For the dressing, boil 3 large peeled potatoes until mealy. Drain, let dry, and beat to a dry powder with a fork. Add 1 saltspoonful of salt, the same of mustard and pepper, 1 rounding teaspoonful of powdered sugar, and 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar beaten in gradually. Pour over the halibut and decorate with lettuce or green tops. Turkish halibut. Place on the bottom of a baking pan 2 or 3 slices of onion, then a cutlet of halibut, and put a tablespoonful of butter cut into small bits over the top of the fish. Cut 3 skinned tomatoes into quarters, slice a sweet green pepper into ribbons, and put the tomatoes and pepper on the fish. Put the pan on the shelf of the oven to cook first the vegetables, but do not let it remain there long enough to discolor or change their shape. Then remove it to the bottom of the oven, baste it well, and finish the cooking. When done, place it carefully on a hot dish and pour over it the juice from the pan. Halibut pie. Butter a china baking dish and sprinkle with chopped shallots and parsley. Add a layer of chopped halibut and salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, chopped shallots, and parsley to season. Dot with butter and cover with sliced hard-boiled eggs. Add a cupful of cream sauce and 2 wineglassfuls of white wine. Wet the edge, cover with pastry, gash, brush with egg, and bake for an hour and a half in a moderate oven. Make a hole in the center and moisten the pie with milk if it becomes too dry. Steamed halibut. Put the prepared fish on a plate, cover with a cloth, and put in a steamer. Steam for 2 hours and pour over an egg sauce. Halibut mousselines. Mince enough uncooked halibut to make 2 cupfuls. Add 1 cupful of soft breadcrumbs and 1/2 cupful of cream. Press through a colander, season with salt, pepper, lemon juice, a suspicion of mace, and Worcestershire sauce. Fold in carefully the beaten whites of 4 eggs. Turn into buttered molds, round-bottomed ones, and steam 1/2 hour. Turn out on separate plates, surround with sauce, make a stock of the fish bones and water, and add it to 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 2 of flour cooked together. There should be 1 1/2 cupfuls of stock. Add 1/2 cupful of cream, and when boiling add salt, pepper, and 1 tablespoonful of grated horseradish soaked in lemon juice. Halibut steaks à la maître d'hôtel. Season the steaks with salt and pepper and rub thoroughly with oil. Broil in a double broiler and serve with melted butter, minced parsley, and lemon juice. Timbale of halibut. Chop 1/2 pound of raw halibut and press it through a sieve. Mix a cupful of breadcrumbs to a smooth paste with 1/2 cupful of milk and cook until it thickens. Take from the fire, add the fish pulp and the stiffly beaten whites of 5 eggs. Fill buttered timbale molds with the mixture and cook in a pan of hot water in a moderate oven for 20 minutes. Serve with cream or tomato sauce. Fillets of halibut à la poulet. Free the fish of skin and bones and cut it into fillets. Sprinkle with lemon juice, salt, and pepper. Cover with sliced onion and let stand for 1/2 hour. Remove the onion, dip into melted butter, roll up each piece, and fasten with a wooden toothpick. Dip once more into the butter, dredge thickly with flour, and bake for 20 minutes in a moderate oven. Cut the whites of 3 hard-boiled eggs into rings and arrange around the fillets after taking up. Sprinkle the grated yolks over the fish and serve with cream sauce. Cold halibut fillet. Prepare 1/2 dozen fillets of halibut, remove the skin and bone, and boil in court bouillon. Drain and sprinkle with olive oil, lemon juice, minced parsley, and chopped onion. Serve with tartar sauce. Fillets of halibut with tomato sauce. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given, and bake, basting with tomato juice and melted butter. Serve with tomato sauce. Fillets of halibut stuffed with oysters. Prepare the fillets according to directions given for fillets of halibut à la poulet. Roll each one around an oyster, fasten with a wooden toothpick, and bake as usual. Fillets of halibut with brown sauce. Put the seasoned fillets into a buttered pan with sufficient boiling water and bake, basting as required. Drain off the water, add to it a teaspoonful of beef extract, and thicken with browned flour. Pour the sauce over the fish, cover with buttered crumbs, and bake until the crumbs are brown. Fillets of halibut with potato balls. Cut the solid meat into fillets, seasoning with salt, pepper, onion, and lemon juice. Brown slightly in pork fat, then place in a baking dish. Prepare a cream sauce, adding to it a slice each of carrot and onion, a bay leaf, and minced parsley, and grated nutmeg to season. Strain over the fish and bake for 12 minutes. Serve with a border of steamed potato balls. Fried fillets of halibut, 1. Prepare the fillets according to directions previously given and soak for an hour in a marinade of oil, vinegar, and minced onion. Drain, dip in batter, then in crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Fried fillets of halibut, 2. Clean and fillet the fish. Dip into beaten egg, then into crumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with melted butter, lemon juice, and minced parsley. Mayonnaise of halibut with cucumbers. Boil or steam halibut steaks according to directions previously given. Remove the skin, cover with thinly sliced cucumbers, and pour over a mayonnaise dressing. Halibut loaf. Cook together 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 1 tablespoonful of flour. Add half a can of chopped mushrooms, 2 cupfuls of chopped cooked halibut, pepper, salt, onion juice, and anchovy paste to season, and 2 eggs beaten smooth with 4 tablespoonfuls of cream. Pour into a buttered mold, cover, set into a pan of hot water, and cook steadily for an hour. Turn out and garnish with potato balls. Halibut and eggs. Flake a pound of cooked halibut and mix with 6 eggs well beaten. Season with salt and pepper and cook in butter, stirring constantly until the eggs set. Serve on buttered toast. Halibut and ramekins. Prepare the fish according to directions given for halibut and cucumbers. Fill buttered individual dishes, cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake in the oven. Halibut fish balls. Flake cold cooked halibut and mix with an equal quantity of mashed potatoes beaten very light with egg. Season with salt, pepper, and melted butter. Shape into balls, dip into melted butter, dredge with flour, and fry in deep fat. Breaded halibut. Prepare according to directions given for halibut à la Creole 1, sprinkling with minced parsley as well as garlic. Cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake in the oven. Coquilles of halibut. Flake cold cooked halibut and mix with cream sauce. Season with mushroom catsup, fill buttered individual shells, cover with fried breadcrumbs, and heat thoroughly in the oven. Halibut with caper sauce. Boil the halibut in salted and acidulated water. Pour over a caper sauce. Halibut pudding. 3 pounds of halibut, 6 eggs, 1/4 pound butter, 1 quart sweet milk, 2 tablespoonfuls of cornstarch, 1 tablespoonful of flour. Skin and bone the fish and run through a meat chopper. Add flour and cornstarch, mixing well. Add butter, rubbing all to a cream. Next the eggs, one at a time, thoroughly beating after each one. Add milk gradually, 1/4 teaspoon pepper and 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Beat until it thickens. Grease and line a deep baking pan with browned breadcrumbs. Fill with the fish mixture and sprinkle crumbs on top. Bake for an hour and a half in a moderate oven. Cover it first, then remove the cover and let it brown well. Boiled halibut 1. Put 2 pounds of halibut into a saucepan and cover it with fresh water. Add a sliced onion, half a carrot sliced, 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar, a small bunch of parsley, a pinch of powdered sweet herbs, and 2 tablespoonfuls of salt. Simmer until done, drain, and serve with melted butter to which a little anchovy paste has been added. Boiled halibut 2. Rub the fish with salt, sprinkle with lemon juice, and keep in a cool place for an hour. Cover with cold water, bring quickly to the boil, and simmer until done. Serve with egg sauce. Boiled halibut steaks au gratin. Soak the steaks in salted water for an hour, drain, and sprinkle with oil and lemon juice. Put into a covered baking pan, sprinkle with chopped onion and a tablespoonful of melted butter, and add a cupful of boiling water. Cover and cook until nearly done, then uncover, sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake brown. Serve with tartar sauce. Boiled halibut steaks. Cover the steaks with court bouillon or hot water and add a slice each of carrot, onion, and celery, a bay leaf, 4 cloves, 6 peppercorns, and the juice of half a lemon. Simmer until done, drain and serve with any preferred sauce. Boiled halibut à la béchamel. Prepare boiled halibut according to directions previously given, and serve with bechamel sauce, seasoning with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg. Add 4 tablespoonfuls of butter and a pinch of sugar and strain over the fish. Boiled halibut with parsley sauce. Boil the halibut in salted and acidulated water. For the sauce, boil a cupful of chopped parsley for 5 minutes in a cupful of water. Strain the water through a sieve and thicken with a tablespoonful of butter blended with a tablespoonful of flour. Take from the fire, season with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg, add the yolks of 2 eggs well beaten, a little minced parsley, 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, and a few drops of lemon juice or vinegar. Strain over the fish and serve. Carbonade of halibut. Skin the halibut and cut into large cubes. Dip into melted butter, seasoned with salt, pepper, and onion juice, then into beaten egg, then into crumbs. Put into a buttered baking pan, spread with egg and butter, and cook in a hot oven for 12 minutes. Serve with hollandaise sauce. Fried halibut 1. Cut into steaks and sauté in butter in a frying pan, or dip in egg and crumbs and fry in deep fat. Fried halibut 2. Season halibut steaks with salt and pepper, dredge with flour, and sauté in salt pork fat. Serve the pork with the fish. Fried halibut 3. Soak halibut steaks for an hour in a marinade of oil and vinegar. Drain, dredge with seasoned flour, dip in beaten egg, then in seasoned crumbs. Fry in deep fat. Fried halibut with tomato sauce. Remove the skin and bones from small halibut steaks, dip in milk, roll in seasoned flour, and fry light brown. Serve with a sauce of stewed, strained, and seasoned tomatoes thickened with butter and flour cooked together. Escalloped halibut au parmesan. Cut in thin slices 4 pounds of halibut meat. Put into a buttered pan with salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, and chopped onions to season. Cover, cook slowly, and then drain. Cook together 2 tablespoonfuls each of butter and flour, add a quart of milk, and cook until thick, stirring constantly. Take from the fire, add the yolks of 4 eggs well beaten, and half a cupful of grated cheese. Put into a buttered baking dish a layer of fish, cover it with sauce, and repeat until the dish is full, having sauce on top. Sprinkle thickly with crumbs and grated cheese, dot with butter, and bake in a moderate oven. Breaded halibut steaks. Dip halibut steaks into egg and breadcrumbs and broil on a buttered gridiron, basting with melted butter or olive oil. Halibut timbales. Chop fine a slice of raw halibut and rub it through a sieve. Season 1 cupful of the pulp with salt, red pepper, and onion juice, then add gradually the stiffly beaten whites of 4 eggs and 1 cupful of whipped cream. Fill buttered timbale molds, cover with buttered paper, and bake for 15 minutes in a pan of hot water. Turn out and serve with any preferred sauce. Halibut au poulet. Melt 1/4 of a cupful of butter and season it with salt, pepper, grated onion, and lemon juice. Dip prepared fillets of halibut into it, roll up, and fasten with a wooden toothpick. Dredge with flour and bake, basting with melted butter. Arrange on a platter, pour over a cream sauce, and sprinkle thickly with chopped hard-boiled eggs. End of section 18.
Recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Matthew Royal. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 19. 25 Ways to Cook Herring. Stewed herring. Clean the fish and cut off the heads. Pack in layers in an earthen pot and sprinkle salt and pepper over each layer. Chop together carrots and onions, enough to cover the fish, and fry in butter with parsley, a few peppercorns, and a minced clove of garlic. Pour over the vegetables enough white wine to cover the fish, and bring to the boil. Simmer for half an hour, then strain over the fish, and cook over a slow fire until done. Matelote of herring. Cut off the heads and tails, and divide each herring lengthwise into 2 fillets. Put a small amount of butter into a frying pan, and add enough flour to absorb nearly all of it. Then add a little chopped parsley and a few chopped shallots. Lay the fish in the pan, add enough red wine to cover, and cook over a hot fire. Garnish with small onions fried in butter and sugar, and sautéed mushrooms. Broiled herring. Clean and split the fish. Let stand for an hour in olive oil, seasoned with minced parsley. Broil over a slow fire and serve with melted butter, lemon juice, and minced parsley. Broiled herring with mustard sauce. Clean and cut off the heads of the fish, but do not split. Dip in seasoned oil and let stand for an hour. Broil over a slow fire. Mix together 1 teaspoonful of flour and 1 teaspoonful of mustard. Add 1 cupful of white stock and bring to the boil. Add 1 tablespoon of butter, a teaspoonful of minced parsley, and pepper and salt to taste. Pour over the fish and serve. Broiled smoked herring. Put the cleaned herring into a bowl. Cover with boiling water. Let stand for 10 minutes. Skin, wipe dry, broil, and serve with melted butter. Broiled herring with cream sauce. Soak for an hour in a marinade of oil and lemon juice, seasoned with salt and pepper. Broil and serve with a cream sauce. Add to the sauce a teaspoonful of minced parsley and a few drops of vinegar. Fried herring 1. Clean and cut up the fish, dip in milk, roll in flour, and fry in hot fat. Serve with a cream sauce, to which 4 tablespoons of prepared mustard have been added. Fried herring 2. Clean and cut up the fish, dredge with salt, pepper, and flour, and put into a frying pan with hot lard. Fried herring 3. Remove the head and tail. Clean, gash down to the bone, roll in cornmeal, and fry in salt pork fat. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Herring à la Normandie. Chop a large onion fine and fry it. When brown, fry half a dozen prepared herrings in the same fat. When brown, add salt, pepper, and 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar. Bring to the boil and pour over the herring. Serve with mustard. Smoked herring à la marine. Cut off the heads of smoked herrings and put the rest in a bowl. Cover with hot water and soak for 2 hours. Take them out, skin, bone, and soak for 2 weeks in enough oil to cover, with sliced onions, peppercorns, and bay leaves. Keep in a cool place. Boiled herring. Clean the fish thoroughly and rub with salt and vinegar. Skewer their tails in their mouths and boil for 10 or 12 minutes. Drain and serve with melted butter and parsley. Herring relish. Soak 6 Holland herrings overnight. Remove the backbones, cut up into inch pieces, and add 3 onions sliced thin. Cover with vinegar and serve the next day. Herring salad. Soak 4 salt herrings in water overnight. Drain and chop fine. Mix with 4 boiled beets, 3 heads of celery boiled, 4 peeled sour apples, 2 onions, 3 pickles, and 2 pounds of lean roast veal. Chop very fine, season with salt and pepper, and pour over enough oil to moisten, and enough vinegar to suit the taste. Serve very cold, with a garnish of hard-boiled eggs. Herring salad à la Brenoise, Brenoise. Peel and cut into dice a quart of cold-boiled potatoes, 4 peeled and cored sour apples, the fillets of 4 salt herrings, a cucumber pickle, and 2 boiled beets. Add salt, pepper, chopped onion, vinegar, mustard, and mayonnaise dressing. Sprinkle with minced parsley before serving. Swedish herring salad. Soak 2 salted Holland herrings for 24 hours. Remove the bones and cut into dice. Add an equal amount of cooked meat, cut into dice, and half the quantity each of boiled potatoes, sour apples, and beets chopped fine. Chop 1 tablespoon of capers and 4 hard-boiled eggs. Add to the salad with 3 tablespoons of cream, 2 of olive oil, 2 of vinegar, and pepper, sugar, and mustard to taste. Press in a mold and serve on platter with a garnish of parsley. Serve with the same kind of dressing that was mixed with the salad. Smoked herring salad. Put the crisp leaves of a head of lettuce into a salad bowl. Skin and remove the bone from 2 smoked herrings. Chop fine and mix with the lettuce. Pour over a French dressing to which a chopped hard-boiled egg has been added. Pickled herring. Soak in milk and water overnight. Next day, put the herring into a stone jar with alternate layers of sliced onion, a few slices of lemon, a few cloves, bay leaves, and whole peppers, and enough mustard seed to season. Rub the roe through a sieve. Add a tablespoon of brown sugar and add it to the herring. Pour over enough vinegar to cover the fish and let stand 3 or 4 days before using. Herring balls. Parboil 3 red herrings, skin and remove the bones. Add an equal quantity of baked potatoes, skinned and mashed. Make to a paste with cream and melted butter. Season to taste and shape into balls. Dip in egg and crumbs and fry in deep fat. Baked smoked herring. Wash thoroughly, wipe dry, wrap in clean wet manila paper, and put into a quick oven for 15 minutes. Served with sliced lemon. Baked fresh herring. Clean a dozen fresh herrings, removing the head and tail. Butter a deep earthen dish, put in a layer of fish, 2 slices of lemon, and 3 or 4 slices of onion. Season with pepper and salt and repeat until the dish is full. Cover with vinegar. Tie a sheet of buttered brown paper over the dish and bake in a slow oven for 6 hours. The bones will be dissolved. Marinade of herring. Soak white salted herrings for 2 hours in milk to cover. Split, remove the bones, and cut each half into 3 pieces. Pack in layers in a deep jar, seasoning between the layers with minced shallot, pounded clove, and white pepper. Add here and there a bit of bay leaf and a slice of fresh lemon with half the rind taken off. Use the roe with the herring. Season the top layer, cover with vinegar, add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and let stand for 2 days before using. Escalloped herring. Soak 4 or 5 Norway herrings overnight. Divide the fish down the back, remove the skin and bones, and cut into 8 squares. Arrange in a baking pan with alternate layers of cold-boiled potatoes, seasoning each layer with butter and red pepper. Have potatoes on top. Pour over 3 eggs beaten with 3 cupfuls of milk. Cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake for 40 minutes. Grilled smoked herring. Soak overnight and in the morning, cover with hot water and let stand for half an hour. Put into cold water for 10 minutes, then wipe dry and broil. Serve with hot cornbread. Grilled fresh herring. Dip in seasoned melted butter, then in crumbs, and broil carefully, basting with melted butter if required. Serve with Maitre d' hotel sauce. End of section 19. Recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Matthew Royal. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 20. 9 ways to cook kingfish. Boiled kingfish. Clean the fish and boil with enough fish stock to cover. Drain carefully, garnish with parsley, and serve with either brown or white sauce. Boiled kingfish à la hollandaise. Scale and clean 2 large kingfish and boil in salted and acidulated water with a bunch of parsley, a slice each of carrot and onion, and a pinch of powdered sweet herbs. Cover with buttered paper and simmer until done. Garnish with parsley and serve with hollandaise sauce. Fried kingfish 1. Cut the fish into fillets, remove the skin, season with salt and pepper, dredge with flour, dip in beaten egg, then in breadcrumbs, and fry in deep fat. Serve with any preferred sauce. Fried kingfish 2. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Cook until firm in melted butter and lemon juice. Drain, cool, dip in batter, and fry in deep fat. Serve with any preferred sauce. Fried kingfish 3. Clean and fillet the fish, dip in milk, roll in flour and fry. Drain, Season, garnish with lemons, and serve with tomato sauce. Broiled kingfish. Clean thoroughly, wipe dry, and slit down the back. Season with salt and pepper, and baste with oil before and during the broiling. Serve with melted butter, minced parsley, and lemon juice. Baked kingfish. Clean 4 kingfish, cut off the fins, and gash from head to tail on each side. Place on a buttered baking dish, sprinkle with chopped shallots, parsley, and mushrooms. Sprinkle with salt and pepper, and put small bits of butter in the incisions. Pour over 2 wine glassfuls of white wine and baste with the liquid while baking. Thicken a cupful of beef stock with butter and brown flour, and pour over the fish when nearly done. Sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Sprinkle with lemon juice before serving. Baked kingfish with white sauce. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the recipe for baked kingfish, omitting the mushrooms and the seasoning. Pour over 1 cupful of white wine and half a cupful of white stock. Baste with the liquid while baking. Take up the fish carefully and add to the liquid remaining in the pan enough white stock to make the required quantity of sauce. Thicken with a tablespoon each of butter and flour cooked together. Take from the fire. Add 2 tablespoons of butter and a little lemon juice. Strain over the fish and serve. Kingfish à la Meunière. M-E-U-N-I-E-R-E. Prepare and season 8 small kingfish, dredge with flour, brown in butter, and finish cooking in the oven. When done, pour over 2 tablespoons of butter, which has been cooked brown, sprinkle with lemon juice and minced parsley, and serve in the baking dish. End of section 20.
Section 21 of How to Cook Fish. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. How to Cook Fish by Olive Green. Section 21. 65 Ways to Cook Mackerel. Broiled Spanish Mackerel, Recipe 1. Cut a fish down the middle. Take out all the bones and cut again in halves. Dry on a cloth and sprinkle with salt and pepper. Beat 2 eggs, add an equal quantity of olive oil, dip the fish into this, then into breadcrumbs, and broil over a clear fire. Broiled Spanish Mackerel, Recipe 2. Split the mackerel down the back and broil carefully over a clear fire. Season with butter, pepper, and salt. Broiled Fresh Mackerel, Recipe 1. Split 2 fresh mackerel, remove the backbone, season with salt and pepper, rub with olive oil, and broil. Serve with melted butter, lemon juice, and minced parsley. Broiled Mackerel, Recipe 2. Draw and wash the mackerel, cut off the head, rub with olive oil, and broil. Sprinkle with minced parsley, onions, and lemon juice, and serve very hot. Broiled Mackerel, Recipe 3. Split a mackerel down the back, take out the backbone, sprinkle with salt, and broil on a buttered gridiron. Serve with melted butter, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. A little minced parsley may be added. Broiled Mackerel with anchovy butter. Split and broil a fresh mackerel and serve with melted butter, seasoned with anchovy paste. Broiled Mackerel au beurre noir. Open the mackerel, remove the bones, sprinkle with pepper and salt, spread with butter and broil. Cook a tablespoonful of butter until brown. Take from the fire, add the juice of half a lemon, and pour over the fish. Garnish with parsley. Broiled Mackerel à la Livournaise. Broil a Spanish mackerel, seasoning with salt and pepper and basting with oil. Serve with a sauce made of 8 pounded anchovies mixed with mayonnaise and seasoned with pepper, grated nutmeg, and minced parsley. The sauce is served cold. Broiled mackerel with Normandy sauce. Soak cleaned mackerel in oil with chopped onion and parsley to season. Leave the roe inside. Rub the inside with lemon juice and butter. Wrap in oiled paper and broil over a slow fire for 40 minutes. Prepare a cream sauce and add to it 2 tablespoonfuls each of mushroom catsup and fish stock, or boiling water in which a little anchovy paste has been dissolved. Bring to the boil, take from the fire, add the yolks of 2 eggs and the juice of half a lemon. Add 1 tablespoonful of butter, pour over the fish, and serve. Broiled mackerel à la fleurette. Split a Spanish mackerel, remove the bones, and season with salt, pepper, and olive oil, basting with oil as needed. For the sauce, cook in a saucepan, without browning, 4 chopped shallots, 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar, a teaspoonful each of chopped chives and parsley, salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg to season, 2 tablespoonfuls of melted butter, and a tablespoonful of flour. Cook until smooth, stirring constantly. Take from the fire, add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and the juice of half a lemon, pour over the fish, and serve. Broiled salt mackerel, Recipe 1. Soak the fish overnight in cold water. In the morning, drain, cover with boiling water, and let stand for an hour. Rinse in cold water, wipe dry, and soak for 20 minutes in oil and vinegar or lemon juice. Broil and serve with melted butter, lemon juice, and minced parsley. Broiled salt mackerel, Recipe 2. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Take the fish from the hot water and cover for 5 minutes with cold water. Wipe dry, soak in olive oil and lemon juice for half an hour. Drain, broil, and serve with tartar sauce. Broiled salt mackerel, Recipe 3. Soak overnight, drain, wipe, rub with butter, and broil. Pour over it a sauce made of a tablespoonful of butter, a teaspoon of lemon juice or vinegar, a tablespoonful of hot water, a pinch of pepper, and a chopped cucumber pickle. Bring to the boil and pour over the fish. Broiled salt mackerel with cream. Soak overnight in cold water, drain, wipe dry, rub with oil, and broil. Serve on a hot platter and pour over half a cupful of hot cream. Sprinkle with minced parsley. Broiled mackerel with tarragon sauce. Soak the cleaned fish for an hour in olive oil and broil. Serve with melted butter seasoned with pepper, salt, and tarragon vinegar. Boiled mackerel, Recipe 1. Boil in water or stock to cover, seasoning with onion, sweet herbs, pepper, salt, cloves, and vinegar. Strain the liquor, thicken it with butter and flour blended together, and add to it minced parsley and hard-boiled eggs, chopped fine. Pour over the fish and serve. Boiled mackerel, Recipe 2. Boil in salted water until done and drain. Serve with egg sauce. Boiled mackerel, Recipe 3. Boil a fresh mackerel in salted and acidulated water. Drain and serve with a cream sauce. Boiled mackerel, Recipe 4. Clean a fresh mackerel and split it down the back. Put it in a dripping pan and pour over it 2 cupfuls of boiling water, 2 tablespoons each of vinegar and lemon juice, and a teaspoonful of salt. Add a sliced onion and boil for 3/4 of an hour. Take up the fish, strain the liquid, add a teaspoonful of capers, bring to the boil, and pour over the fish. Boiled mackerel with gooseberry sauce. Boil the mackerel in salted and acidulated water. Boil 2 cupfuls of gooseberries in water to cover until soft. Drain, rub through a sieve, and mix with an equal quantity of the fish broth thickened with butter and flour. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of melted butter. Boiled mackerel à la persillade. Boil the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Beat together with an egg beater half a cupful of olive oil, the juice of 2 lemons, 2 tablespoonfuls of minced parsley, 1 tablespoonful of mustard, and a little tarragon vinegar. Pour over the fish and serve. Fresh boiled mackerel. Clean the mackerel, sprinkle with vinegar, wrap in a floured cloth and baste closely. Boil for 3/4 of an hour in salted water. Drain and take off the cloth. Strain a cupful of the water in which the fish was boiled, and bring to the boil with a tablespoonful of walnut catsup, a teaspoonful of anchovy paste, and the juice of half a lemon. Thicken with butter and browned flour. Boiled mackerel à la bolognaise. Clean 4 fresh mackerel. Remove the heads and tails and cut in halves crosswise. Put into a saucepan with sliced onions, a bunch of parsley, salt and pepper, a little white wine, and enough boiling water to cover. Cover with buttered paper and simmer for 15 minutes. Take out the fish, strain the broth, and thicken a pint of it with 2 tablespoonfuls each of butter and flour cooked together. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, a teaspoonful of chopped parsley, and a little tarragon vinegar. Pour over the fish and serve. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 1. Soak the fish in cold water overnight, and in the morning rinse thoroughly. Wrap in a cloth and put to boil in cold water. Bring slowly to the boiling point and cook for 30 minutes. Unwrap carefully, take out the backbones, and pour over a little melted butter and cream, seasoning with pepper. Or serve with a sauce made of a cupful of milk thickened with a teaspoonful of cornstarch, and season with butter, pepper, salt, and minced parsley. Take from the fire, add 1 egg well beaten, and pour over the fish. Garnish with lemon and parsley. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 2. Soak overnight in cold water, and in the morning rinse thoroughly. Boil, drain, and pour over a cupful of hot cream in which a tablespoonful of butter has been melted. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 3. Wash thoroughly, cover with cold water to which a chopped onion and a little black pepper have been added, and boil until the flesh loosens from the bone. Drain and serve with melted butter and minced parsley. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 4. Soak the fish overnight in cold water, and in the morning cover with hot water for half an hour. Drain and boil in acidulated water or in milk until done. Serve with a cream sauce to which chopped hard-boiled eggs have been added, or with tomato sauce. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 5. Soak the fish overnight in cold water. Drain and simmer for 15 minutes in water to cover, adding a teaspoonful of vinegar, a bay leaf, a slice of onion, and a sprig of parsley. When tender, place on a hot platter and pour over it a cream sauce. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 6. Prepare the fish according to directions given in the preceding recipe, and simmer for 20 minutes in acidulated water. Drain and pour over it a cream sauce. Boiled salt mackerel, Recipe 7. Prepare according to directions given in the preceding recipe. Pour over a sauce made of stewed and strained tomatoes, thickened with butter and browned flour, and seasoned with pepper, salt, sugar, and grated onion. Baked mackerel, Recipe 1. Clean the mackerel. Split down the back and cut each fish in 4 pieces. Put in a baking dish in layers, seasoning each layer with bay leaves, cloves, peppercorns, and sliced onions or shallots. Cover with 1 cupful of stock, 3 tablespoons each of white wine and vinegar, 1 tablespoon each of anchovy sauce and mushroom catsup, and a teaspoonful of Worcestershire. Bake in a moderate oven. Take out the fish carefully, strain the sauce over them, and let cool. Baked mackerel, recipe 2. Split a fresh mackerel, take out the backbone, dry thoroughly, and sprinkle the inside with salt and pepper. Drain the liquor from a quart of oysters, and put aside a dozen of the large ones. Chop the remaining oysters coarsely. Fry 2 chopped onions in butter. Add the chopped oysters with 3 chopped hard-boiled eggs and a tablespoonful of minced parsley. Season with salt and pepper and cool. Mix with the yolks of 2 raw eggs and a tablespoonful of butter. Stuff the fish and sew up. Put into a baking pan. Cover with buttered paper and bake for 20 minutes, basting as required. Add the oysters and bake for 5 minutes longer. Serve the fish on a warm platter with lemon juice squeezed over it, and place the oysters around it on thin circles of toast spread with anchovy paste. Garnish with parsley and lemon, and serve very hot. Baked mackerel, recipe 3. Gash 2 cleaned fresh mackerel and put in a buttered baking dish with 2 tablespoonfuls of white wine, 3 tablespoonfuls of mushroom liquor, a chopped shallot, and salt and pepper to season. Cover with buttered paper and bake for 15 minutes in a moderate oven. Take up the fish and add to the gravy a little chopped onion, mushrooms, shallot, parsley, and garlic fried together, and enough white stock to make the required quantity of sauce. Thicken with butter and flour cooked together. Take from the fire and add the yolks of 3 eggs well beaten. Add the juice of half a lemon and a tablespoonful of butter and pour over the fish. Baked mackerel, recipe 4. Soak a fresh cleaned fish for half an hour in olive oil and lemon juice. Lay in a baking pan upon thin slices of fat salt pork. Sprinkle with salt and pepper and bake for 25 minutes. Serve with tomato sauce. Baked fillet of mackerel, recipe 1. Remove the head and backbone from a large fresh mackerel and place the roe on top. Chop fine 6 shallots or 3 small onions, half a pound of mushrooms, and 3 or 4 sprigs of parsley. Add a teaspoonful of salt and a pinch of pepper. Put half of this mixture in a buttered baking pan. Lay the fish upon it and pour over 6 tablespoonfuls of white wine. Spread the remaining seasoning on top. Sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, cover with buttered paper, and bake for 30 minutes. Pour over a little melted butter. Garnish with lemon and parsley, and serve in the dish in which it is baked. Baked fillets of mackerel, recipe 2. Butter an oval baking dish and spread chopped oysters on the bottom. Arrange upon it the fillets of 4 fresh mackerel, skinned and seasoned with salt and pepper. Sprinkle with chopped onion, parsley, and mushrooms. Cover with 1 cupful of beef stock, thickened with browned flour. Sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake for half an hour. Sprinkle with lemon juice and serve in the same dish. Baked fillets of mackerel, recipe 3. Clean and fillet the fish. Put in a buttered baking dish. Season with salt, pepper, and minced parsley. Squeeze lemon juice over. Pour on a little melted butter. Cover with buttered paper and bake. Drain and serve with Maitre d'Hotel sauce. Baked fillets of mackerel with cream. Cook the prepared fillets in melted butter and drain. Thicken 2 cupfuls of white stock with butter and flour cooked together. Add a wineglassful of white wine. Take from the fire and add the yolks of 2 eggs well beaten. Cover the fillets with the sauce, sprinkle with crumbs and grated cheese, dot with butter and bake brown. Sprinkle with lemon juice and serve in the same dish. Mackerel baked in cream. Skin and bone a large fish. Cut it into 4 pieces, season it and fry in butter. Drain it and keep warm. Mix a cupful of white stock with 2 tablespoonfuls of sherry and the yolk of an egg. Cook until it thickens and pour over the fish, seasoning with minced parsley and onion. Sprinkle with crumbs and bake until brown. Baked fresh mackerel with fine herbs. Split and clean the fish, remove the head and tail, put into a buttered dripping pan, sprinkle with salt and pepper, dot with butter, and pour over 2/3 of a cupful of milk. Bake for 25 minutes in a hot oven. Baked Spanish mackerel with fine herbs. Butter a baking dish. Sprinkle with chopped shallots, parsley and mushrooms. Lay a cleaned mackerel upon it. Sprinkle with more chopped shallots, parsley and mushrooms. Season with salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, and dots of butter. Add 2 wineglassfuls of white wine and a cupful of white stock. Cover with a buttered paper and boil, basting frequently. Thicken the sauce with a tablespoonful of flour cooked in butter. Pour over the fish, sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter and bake brown. Squeeze lemon juice over the top and serve in the same dish. Baked mackerel with oyster stuffing. Make a stuffing of 12 chopped oysters, a cupful of breadcrumbs, the chopped yolks of 2 hard-boiled eggs, a tablespoonful of butter, and onion juice, minced parsley, salt and pepper to season. Bind with the yolk of a raw egg and fill a cleaned fresh mackerel with the stuffing. Put the fish on a buttered baking dish, dredge with flour, and pour around it a cupful each of boiling water and stock. Bake until done, basting often with melted butter and the drippings. When done, slide onto a hot platter and add to the remaining liquid sufficient warm water to make the required quantity of sauce. Thicken with browned flour, seasoned with tomato catsup and Worcestershire. Pour over the fish and serve. Baked salt mackerel. Soak overnight in cold water. In the morning, drain, cover with boiling water and let stand for 5 minutes. Drain and put into a baking pan. Rub with butter, season with pepper, and pour over half a cupful of cream or milk. Bake until brown. Baked salt mackerel with cream sauce. Soak a salt mackerel overnight. In the morning, drain, rinse, and put into a baking pan with a pint of milk. Bake for 20 minutes. Take up the fish and thicken the milk with a tablespoon each of butter and flour cooked together. Season with salt and pepper, pour over the fish, and serve. Fried mackerel. Fry 3 slices of salt pork and add to the fat a teaspoonful of Worcestershire sauce. Fry in this fresh mackerel dredged with flour. Season with melted butter. The mackerel may be dipped in beaten egg before it is dipped in flour. Fried salt mackerel. Soak all day in cold water, changing the water every 2 hours. In the morning, drain, wipe dry, roll in flour, and fry in melted butter. Serve with melted butter and parsley. Mackerel à la Havraise. Clean the fish, take out the backbone, and put into a baking pan. To each mackerel add 4 tablespoonfuls of butter, 2 tablespoonfuls of chopped shallots, and salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg to season. Add 2 cupfuls of white wine, Cover and cook slowly for 30 minutes. Take up the fish, thicken the sauce with a tablespoonful each of butter and flour cooked together, and boil for 5 minutes. Take from the fire, add the yolks of 3 eggs beaten with a cupful of cream, season with lemon juice and minced parsley, pour over the fish, and serve. Spanish mackerel à la Castillaine. Open a Spanish mackerel, take out most of the backbone, season with salt and pepper, and stuff with seasoned crumbs. Put into a buttered baking dish with 2 sliced onions, a bunch of parsley, half a cup of sherry, and 2 cupfuls of white stock. Cover with a buttered paper and cook for half an hour in the oven, basting as needed. Take up the fish, strain the sauce and thicken with butter and flour cooked together. Season with lemon juice and anchovy paste. Add a tablespoonful of butter, pour over the fish, and serve. Spanish mackerel à l'Espagnole. Put a cleaned Spanish mackerel in a buttered pan with 1 cupful each of wine and white stock. Season with salt, pepper, and grated nutmeg. Add a bunch of parsley and a clove of garlic. Cover with buttered paper and simmer for 40 minutes. Take up the fish, thicken the sauce with browned flour, season with lemon juice and melted butter, pour over the fish, and serve. Spanish mackerel à la Nassau. Clean and gash a large mackerel. Put in a buttered dish with salt, pepper, half a dozen peeled and sliced tomatoes, 2 wineglassfuls of white wine, and half a cupful of water. Add 2 sliced and parboiled onions, a tablespoonful of minced parsley, and half a cupful of mushrooms. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter. Cover with buttered paper and bake for half an hour, basting as needed. Take out the fish and add enough stock to make the required quantity of sauce. Thicken with a tablespoonful each of butter and flour cooked together. Pour over the fish, cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake brown. Squeeze lemon juice over and serve. Spanish mackerel à la Vénitienne. Put the cleaned mackerel into a baking pan with salt, pepper, grated onion, grated nutmeg, minced parsley, a tablespoonful of butter, and half a cupful each of white wine and white stock. Cover with a buttered paper and cook for 40 minutes, basting as needed. Take out the fish and add 2 cupfuls of white stock to the sauce. Bring to the boil, take from the fire, thicken with the yolks of 4 eggs, and add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, 2 tablespoonfuls of minced parsley, and the juice of a lemon. Pour over the fish and serve. Mackerel à la Tyrol. Wash and dry 2 fresh fish, and put into a saucepan with salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, chopped parsley and onion, and 2 tablespoonfuls of cider. Cover and cook for half an hour. Then add 1 cupful of white stock thickened with flour and butter, the yolk of an egg, and a tablespoonful of tarragon vinegar. Strain the sauce over the fish, cover with crumbs, dot with butter, and brown in the oven. Serve in the same dish. Fillets of mackerel à la Orly. Clean and fillet the fish. Remove the skin and bones, and soak for an hour in oil and lemon juice, seasoned with chopped onion, parsley, salt, pepper, and sweet herbs. Drain, dredge with flour, dip in beaten eggs, roll in crumbs, fry in deep fat, and serve with tomato sauce. Fillets of mackerel à l'Indienne. Fillet 2 large fresh mackerel, cut in 2 and remove the skin. Simmer for 15 minutes with 2 tablespoonfuls each of melted butter and curry powder, mixed with 2 wineglassfuls of white wine. Season with salt and pepper. Prepare a cream sauce and add to it 2 tablespoons of butter and the juice of a lemon. Pour over the fish and serve with a border of plain boiled rice. Mackerel à la Bretonne. Wash and split a large mackerel, wipe dry, dredge with flour, and fry brown in butter. Sprinkle with salt, pepper, and lemon juice. Salt mackerel à la Bretonne. Soak the fish for 12 hours and prepare according to directions given above. Serve with melted butter. Scotch mackerel pie. Make a forcemeat of the roe and some parsley, onion, butter, breadcrumbs, thyme, sweet marjoram, and the yolk of an egg. Cut the fish into strips, spread with the filling, and roll. Arrange in a deep dish, pour in half a cupful of stock, and cover with a layer of mashed potatoes. Bake for 3/4 of an hour and serve. Toasted salt mackerel. Soak overnight in cold water and hang up for a day or two until perfectly dry. Put in a dry tin and set into the oven for 10 minutes. Mackerel en papillote. Oil a sheet of paper a little larger than the fish. Lay a slice of cooked ham on each piece of paper and spread with chopped onion, carrot, parsley, and green pepper fried together in butter. Lay a mackerel on the ham, spread with the fried vegetables, cover with another slice of ham, and fold the paper over, twisting the ends. Bake for 15 minutes in a moderate oven. Serve in the paper. Potted mackerel. Pound together an ounce of black pepper and 6 blades of mace. Mix with 2 ounces of salt and half an ounce of grated nutmeg. Rub thoroughly into pieces of fresh mackerel and fry in oil. Drain and put the fish in a stone jar. Fill with vinegar and put 2 tablespoons of oil on top. Cover closely and let stand for 2 days before using. Fillets of mackerel with ravigote sauce. Cook the fillets of 4 fish in a buttered dish with salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, and half a cupful of white wine. For the sauce, chop fine 4 shallots and put into a saucepan with 2 tablespoonfuls of butter and 4 tablespoonfuls of tarragon vinegar. Reduce half by boiling and add a pint of white stock thickened with a tablespoonful each of butter and flour cooked together. Add 2 tablespoonfuls of butter, pour over the fish and serve. Mackerel with white wine sauce. Cook 3 fresh mackerel in a cupful of white wine with butter, salt, pepper, grated nutmeg, minced onion, and parsley to season. Take out the fish and add 2 cupfuls of white stock to the gravy. Thicken with 2 tablespoonfuls each of butter and flour cooked together. Take from the fire and add the yolks of 3 eggs well beaten. Pour the sauce over the fish, sprinkle with crumbs, dot with butter, and bake brown. Sprinkle with lemon juice and serve in a baking dish. Spanish mackerel salad. Drain the oil from a can of pickled Spanish mackerel and cut the fish in slices. Boil a bunch of red beets for half an hour in water to cover, then drain and bake for half an hour in a hot oven. Peel, slice thin, and cool thoroughly. Mix with the mackerel and add a bunch of radishes sliced thin and half a dozen sliced pickles. Surround with lettuce leaves and pour over a French dressing. Stuffed mackerel with anchovy sauce. Stuff the prepared fish with seasoned crumbs mixed with chopped shallots, parsley, and mushrooms. Sew up and bake, basting with oil. Serve with cream sauce, seasoned with anchovy essence. German pickled mackerel. Skin, bone, and cut into pieces 4 pounds of fresh mackerel, and put it in layers into a stone jar, sprinkling each layer with pepper, salt, bay leaves, and sweet herbs. Cover with vinegar, seal firmly, and bake for 6 hours in a moderate oven. End of Section 21.